Mark chapter 6, verse 30. And for the sake of those people listening to us on YouTube, yes, there are children, and yes, they make noise. This is our home fellowship, and they're welcome. That's right. Oops, what did I just do? I just ripped something. Oh well, whatever. Real life. Okay. Verse 30. We've read this. This will probably be the third time we've read this. But I'm going to keep going to where he tells me to go. So this is where he told me to go. I believe. Sorry, Mark chapter 6, verse 30. Those who had been sent out rejoined Yeshua, reported to him all they had done and taught. There were so many people coming and going that they couldn't even take time to eat. So he said to them, "Come with me by yourselves to a place where we can be alone, and you can get some rest." And they went off by themselves to an isolated spot. I'm going to stop right there. This is Nazareth. This is one of the hills overlooking the city of Nazareth. Even with the city that close, you can go find an isolated spot. Where else can be an isolated spot? The bathroom.
It is.
And the bedroom, yeah.
I use that a lot.
I'm sorry, I know, and people are going to be appalled and go, "No, the latrines were outside the camp." Well, yeah, they were, but when you're a mom of small kids, you know, he's like, "I'm looking at your heart, I'll take it."
Yeah.
Don't let somebody else dictate where you can find a quiet spot.
Can you imagine, even like when you need that quiet spot and you're at work?
Oh, good. I'm glad
Right.
you went there.
You're at work, so that is the only place you can get away. If you can't just leave the area, that is a way to leave the area.
Yeah.
For a few seconds.
What if you can't leave the area?
Yeah,
Oh, my
like
God.
you're driving.
Or you're in the middle of a crowd.
Playground.
Yeah.
I walk over to the side and say, "Help me, Abba.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill him."
He says that.
And
Uh,
that's
now-
bad,
now-
and
now,
I know
kid.
that's not good.
Oh, okay, well, I'm glad you came to me, kid, but you know that's not a good. That's not good.
Help me.
You can be in the middle of 30,000 people in an auditorium or a stadium, and you can still enter the Holy of Holies.
Yes.
Okay, that's the whole point. So I taught the kids last night. You should fear him, right?
Reverence,
Healthy
yeah.
respect and reverence, right? And just like ABBA and his brother, they came arrogantly their own way after God had just told them how to come to me. And they were not just anybody. They were not just Levites. They were not just sons of Aaron. They were the priests. And so God said no. And to show an example, see, the closer you get to God, the more of an example you are to other people. Because their eyes are on you. And they're watching your relationship with God.
Yeah.
So you need to be set apart. You need to be different. Because eyes are watching. And you're reflecting, hopefully, your Father. Okay? So anywhere, sitting in your car, go hide in the bathroom. I don't care where you find it. A chair, a spot on the floor, a closet. Okay?
In the middle of a crowd.
Middle of a crowd. Okay? Middle of whatever's going on. Yeah. He's there and he'll hear. But you can close your eyes and imagine. Okay? Because wherever you are is going to be a set apart spot. And you can enter the Holy of Holies. Through the blood of Yeshua. Boldly. Different versions. Come with me by yourself to a place where we can be alone. And you can get some rest. It doesn't mean sleep. Although it could be. You can fall. You can be talking to him and fall asleep. Don't beat yourself up. That means you're resting with your Father. Just like this little one right here. She falls asleep in our arms. It doesn't bother me. I kind of like it. I think Abba does too. Okay? That's the complete Jewish Bible. The English Standard Version says, "Come away by yourselves to a desolate place and rest a while." Now that one I find interesting. Come away by yourselves. You would think yourself is me, myself, and I, solo. Sometimes it can be corporate. We have come away from the world. We've come in through that door. We have come to a, well, it's not really desolate, okay, but we've come to a place and we rest, okay? Come away by yourselves to an isolated place and rest a while. Come away by yourselves to a secluded place and rest a while. They all say, but they use different words. So, and you know I like words, so that's where we're going. Words. Secluded. It just means separated from others. Are we separated from others today? Yeah, we're kind of secluded, right? Yeah. Isolated. Standing detached from others, by itself or alone. You can be alone with others. We read that. Away by yourself. Yourselves. Okay? A family can be isolated. A person can be isolated. Okay? Standing detached from others. Oh, it kind of sounds like sanctified. Set apart. Standing apart. Right? Interesting. Deprived of inhabitants? That would be desolate. But look at down there. Solitary without a companion. Afflicted. The one I want you to really focus on, though, is deprived of comfort. Deprived of comfort. You know, we got it real easy. Because I can talk to ABBA in my nice, comfortable bed. Solitary without a companion. Okay, so there are times when you will be in a desolate place, not with others. Then there are times you'll be isolated, stand apart with others. Okay? All right. You're getting the idea, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember this spot?
I do remember.
This was the Mount of Olives. Don't I look like I'm in a solitary spot all by myself, beautiful? How many? There were hundreds of people there. There were hundreds of people here. And yet, the vast majority of these hundreds of people wouldn't have been able to tell you who was standing next to them, behind them, or around them, because everyone, everyone, it was them and Abba. Okay? I'm not, am I exaggerating?
Yeah.
There may have been a few that weren't, but if you didn't feel the Spirit there, I don't know what was wrong with you. Even though there were hundreds of people there, we were each isolated with our Father. It was, nobody wanted to leave. We didn't care where else we needed to go that day or wanted to go. None of us wanted to leave. It was peaceful. It was rest. You can have that anywhere. This is also the same city where I said, you know, all these people are having these experiences. Look up. Oh, same sky, same God. Doesn't matter where you are. Solitary, alone. It is applied to two or more persons or things when separate from others. Wait a minute. Alone can be not alone? When is alone not alone? When you're separated. When you're not, yeah, when it's applied to two or more persons or things that are separate from others in a place or condition by themselves without company. In other words, we're not here to joke around and have fun or to watch a movie or play games. We're alone. There's another alone spot. I truly was alone here. This is just at dawn. It's really interesting. If you're ever somewhere before dawn, it's really dark. It gets light, and then it gets dark. I mean, it's light. You can see. And then all of a sudden it gets really dark before the sun comes up. It's the wildest thing. You're thinking, how did it go to dark when the sun's coming up? And it was light before. I can't explain it to you. Secret. In the secret place where we can enter in. What's the next line? Does anybody know the song? In the holy place or secret place where we can enter in by the blood of Yeshua. A secret, unseen, private, secluded, being in retirement. Okay? Private. Known only to God. I like number 7. known only to God. Properly, secret actually means, this one blew me away, that if you go to the Latin and you go to the root of the word, it means to separate, hence hid, concealed from the notice or knowledge of all persons except the individual or individuals concerned. Unseen, private, secluded, it all goes, doesn't it? Abide in a secret place and hide thyself, 1 Samuel. 7, known only to God. And then in Deuteronomy it says secret things belong to the Lord our God. And this was David's secret place. This is En Gedi. It is surrounded by nothing but desert, right? Where does this water coming from? Seriously, where is this water coming from? Okay, because above it is nothing but rocks and sand and sun and heat and desolation. And yet there are caves here. And there's this pool of water and this waterfall, and it's refreshing and cool. En Gedi. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will remain secure and rest in the shadow of the Almighty, whose power no enemy can withstand. You know where that is? If you don't see the reference, do you know where it is? Psalm 91. Therefore, believers, since we have confidence and full freedom to enter the holy place, the place where God dwells by means of the blood of Jesus. So we have confidence and full freedom. That means I have boldness. You hear me say it all the time. I will boldly enter into the throne room of grace by the blood. See, above the law is a mercy seat that's guarded by 2 cherubim. Those big, big, big Malachim angels. And it's sprinkled with blood so that I can enter in. Is that a desolate place? This is the Judean hills. This is the wilderness. This is where Jesus would go and spend time isolated. Okay, go to Matthew chapter 14, verse 12. What happened just prior to this? Do you remember from last week and the week before? Somebody was killed.
Oh,
John the Baptist. Okay. So, Johann's Talmudim, John's Talmudim, his disciples came, took the body and buried it. Then they went and told Yeshua. On hearing this, Yeshua left in a boat to be by himself in the wilderness. He went, so he's at the Sea of Galilee. So he's in the upper. This is central. He's more north. Okay. But the people learned of it and followed him from the towns. So when he came ashore, he saw a huge crowd, and filled with compassion for them, he healed those of them who were sick. This stood out to me. I talked to you about Aaron and his 2 sons earlier with the kids, right? Okay, so if you change, it's Leviticus 9. I'm just going to highlight a couple verses. Verse 1 says, on the 8th day, Moshe called Aaron and his sons and the leaders of Israel, and he said to Aaron, okay? Then I'm going to skip down to verse 6. Moses said, this is what Adonai has ordered you to do, so that the glory of Adonai will appear to you. So do you children remember I told you Aaron's sons? God said, Moses said to them from Adonai, this is what Adonai ordered you to do, so that the glory of Adonai will appear to you. He's talking to Aaron and the 2 sons that I told you this morning got burned up, right? Here's what happened. Aaron raised his hands toward the people, blessed them. By the way, that's the V'yerakrika, the blessing, and came down from offering the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the peace offerings. And then Moses and Aaron entered the tent of meeting, and they came out, and they blessed the people again. And then the glory of Adonai appeared to all the people, and fire came forth from the presence of Adonai and consumed the burnt offering. Okay? So fire from heaven can be a good thing. It means he's accepted it, right? But Nadab and Abihu, sons of Aaron, each took his own censer. Okay, this is the part you guys got to listen to. Ready? They each took their own censer. They put fire in it. They laid incense on it and offered unauthorized fire before Adonai, something he did not order them to do. And at this, fire came forth from the presence of Adonai and consumed them, so that they died in the presence of Adonai. What does that have to do with him being filled with compassion? Did he not just hear that his cousin died? Okay, let me move on to chapter 21 of Leviticus and read this to you. So maybe it'll make a little more sense. Adonai said to Moses, speak to the Kohanim, the priests, the sons of Aaron. Tell them no Kohen is to make himself unclean for any of his people who dies. It means ritually unclean. He may not make himself unclean because he is a leader among his people. Doing so would profane him. Rather, they are to be holy, set apart for their God, and not profane the name of their God. See, by doing so, you're going to be profaning God's name. Abba, thank you for joy. Thank you for little ones. I know. Can we still learn? Is he still present? Do you think God's here with all these shenanigans? Are you sure? I don't know. I mean, seriously, you're not like, serious focused. Are you sure he's here?
Suffer little children and bring them to me.
I think so. And I think he's going, don't you just love her? Okay. Where was I? Rather, they are to be holy for their God and not profane the name of their God. For they are the ones who present Adonai with offerings made by fire, the bread of their God. Therefore, they must be holy. Not perfect. Not in this house. Not perfect. Okay? Set apart. Different. Okay? Yeah. All right. So, here he is. God-man. His earthly cousin, who he also knows this is the way it had to be, but it's also showing your soon to be following. It's real. And instead of going off, he went off to a place to be refreshed, not to mourn, to be refreshed by his Father, to be comforted. Okay, we know angels ministered to him because we know from the quote-unquote temptation afterwards, they came and ministered to him. Okay, so he needs to go away and be refreshed. How much more do we need to go away and be refreshed? How much more do we need to be isolated so that we can, I don't care if it's 20 seconds or 2 hours. Getting ready to step out that door, and I don't want to go in my own strength. I want to be your hands and your feet extended. I will acknowledge that you are my strength. It's by your spirit, your power. You will lead me, and don't let me step off the path. You tell me if I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing pleasing to you. Does that mean I shouldn't have 2 hours somewhere else, some other time, some other day, maybe not that day? Yeah, I should, right? We need time with him. But that doesn't mean on a certain day when everything's going and you need to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Someone's walking in the middle of the street, you need to get him out of the street. You don't stop and take 2 hours to ask him, what do I do? You take 20 seconds, not even that, 5 seconds, say, give me strength, and boom. So he was going off to the wilderness to be refreshed. But he saw these people. Luke 9. Same story, right? Different perspective. Did you see 2 different perspectives, though, from Mark and Matthew? One focused on telling the disciples, come away and rest. The other one showed you that he was going to be refreshed, right? Okay. Luke chapter 9, verse 10. And by the way, before I read verse 10, I want to point out in verse 6, there's a word that says, they, meaning the disciples, set out and went through village after village, healing and announcing the good news everywhere. Okay? So verse 10, on their return, disciples, right? Okay, Luke 9, verse 10. On their return, the emissaries detailed to Yeshua what they had done. We read that. Then taking them with him. Oh. So before we saw he was going to go, but he's taking them with him. They're isolated alone, right? Together alone. But the crowds found out and followed him, welcoming them. I need a little alone time here. When I'm hurting the most is when I give the most. Is that right?
have the most compassion.
When I am in need, I am more giving. See, your character, his character in you is going to shine forth under times of when you're under trial, when you're in a hardship. When you're at your worst, you should be at your best. But the crowds found out and followed him. Welcoming them, he went on to speak to them. Oh, it's a different word from the word healing. Okay, I would have chosen a different word here. Okay? I would have chosen a different word because you think it's healing like the disciples went around healing, physically healing people. That's not what the word means. I'll get to it. So he went on to speak to them about the kingdom of God and to heal those who needed to be healed. It says to, the word is cure. And you're like, well, isn't that the same? No, it's not. Curing is going to, you're not in remission. It's not coming back. It's not lying dormant. You are cured. How long did I have manic depression? He healed me at different times, but I was not cured. It was not taken away. I had to learn to live with it. It taught me a lot of things.
It ministers to a lot.
Praise God. But through those, yeah, there was ministry.
Yeah.
Out of your deepest, and if it doesn't, you weren't healed, and it's a wasted sorrow. Didn't I talk to you about that term? It's a wasted sorrow. Don't waste your trials. Don't waste your troubles. Don't waste the wilderness. Don't waste the things you've gone through and what you've learned. That's ministry. You have an ability now to help someone else. Okay? Don't waste it. Because if you don't use it in ministry, what a waste. You mean, I went through all of that hell, I lost all this, I lost my life, I lost my children, I lost this, I lost that. Oh, and I just want to forget about it, close the door. Are you kidding me? You're going to walk through all of that and not use it to minister to other people? No, that's a waste. Okay, that's a waste of sorrows. That's a waste of sorrows. And I believe there's a reference in scripture about wasting sorrows. Oh, okay, so this word heal, I want to show it to you because it's different. It's to cure, to make whole, to recover, to collect your strength, to refresh, receive. You're physically healed so that you can receive. Okay? When people are hungry, he fed them. Some wanted more. They wanted spiritual food. They're not going to hear spiritual food if their tummies are hungry. I'm sorry. Okay, it's different than fasting. That's a deliberate choice you make as a believer. But people who are hungry have a need. Feed them. Some want a deeper feeding, spiritual feeding. Same thing with healing. Okay? He would heal and he would cure them from their sins so that they could hear. So find your quiet spot, okay? Find your place of rest. Or rofa, okay? Healing, okay? Curing, more than healing, curing, okay? He's the God of cures. All right, John chapter 6. Verse 1. Sometime later, Yeshua went over to the far side of Lake Kinneret. We already know he went to where? With the Lake Tiberias, he went to Bethsaida, right? Top part of Galilee. And a large crowd followed him because they had seen the miracles he had performed on the sick. Yeshua went up into the hills and sat down there with his Talmudim. Now, here's the thing I want you to notice. He said, come away with me. He tells the disciples, come away. Right? Or he draws the... What is John? Does John say that he says, come away? He doesn't. See, John's perspective is different. John doesn't need to be told to come away. Isn't John one of the closest disciples to him? He doesn't have to say to him, hey, John, come on. See, the other disciples were tired and busy. He says, come on, let's go. John's like expecting. Where you go, I'm following. You don't have to tell me to come. I'm following. It's important to read the different perspectives. You can get something different from all of them. Out of each one of those, I got 4 different perspectives, 4 different focus points, if you will. Okay? And yet they all said the same thing, didn't they? They did. Come away. Come away. Doesn't he say, come away, my beloved? Come away. See, John's perspective was it was his habit. Okay? So develop that habit. Okay?
And John was very attuned to Yeshua.
He was. So much so that when everyone else deserted, John followed in, and he didn't stop in the courtyard like Peter. He went in. He was known by the high priest. That's another story altogether. I wonder why John was known. See, I think John and James both were known. Just like John the Baptist was known. Just like Yeshua was known. Because of who his mother was. Okay. So, you are my hiding place. There's that song. You are my hiding place. You always fill my heart with songs of deliverance. Whenever I am afraid, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. Let the weak say I am strong in the strength of the Lord. I will trust in you. Psalms. Sing psalms. If you're having a hard time focusing, you're going to go through a season. If you haven't done it, you will. And if you've done it already, you're going to do it again. It'll happen again. Where you have this, man, you're talking and all of a sudden, how did I leave this conversation and end up over here in my quiet place? How was I distracted? Come back. And if you keep finding it difficult, open the book of Psalms and start singing the Psalms. There's so many songs. You can't read a psalm without singing a song that we know, okay? Pray it as a prayer. It will help your focus come right back, okay? Just keep at it. Slow and steady. And then what did I tell you last night about the dance? Don't do it fast. Slow and steady gets the job done, okay? You speed through it, you're going to make mistakes. Slow down, it's okay. Go slow and steady. Just keep going. Slow and steady. You'll get it done. Okay? You find yourself distracted, you find yourself in back. Come back. Come back. Okay? Don't abandon ship. Don't abandon ship. Okay? Would we give up on this little one? No, and that's what God... We're not going to abandon her just because she runs off. We're going to go get her and bring her back. That's how God is with us, okay? All right. All right. You guys come on out here.
Mess up my neck.
May Adonai Hashem. Actually, is he Abba for you? He's the best father there is, right? The eternal existing one. May he adore you and treasure you. May he light your way. May he shelter and protect you and give you unmerited mercy and grace. Come here. You come do this with me. Come do this with me. May he treasure you and keep you and shelter you and fix and determine and give you compassion and safety and quietness of mind. V'yerecha Adonai v'yeshmerecha. Yair Adonai panav elecha. Vihunecha, Yisai Adonai panav elecha, Vihunecha, V'yeshem lecha shalom, V'yeshem lecha shalom. Shabbat shalom. Now you're quiet. Is this where you should have been maybe the whole time? Oh, we love you. Mwah.